The Karate Kid franchise, known for turning simple life lessons into martial arts philosophy. What about it? From Daniel LaRusso's humble beginnings to the reimagined story of Trey Parker, and now the return and team-up of Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso. Let's get into it. Please help your favorite average movie guy get to 1,000 subscribers by subscribing right now. The Karate Kid, 1984. Let's begin with the film that started it all, directed by Rocky's John G. Avildsen. The film tells the story of Daniel LaRusso, a teenager struggling to fit in, who quickly finds himself targeted by Johnny Lawrence, a local karate student at the ruthless Cobra Kai dojo, especially after Daniel befriends Johnny's ex-girlfriend Ellie Mills. After repeated bullying, Daniel is rescued by Mr. Miyagi, the quiet handyman at his apartment complex, who turns out to be a karate master. Miyagi confronts Johnny's sensei, John Kreese, and negotiates a truce. Daniel will face his bullies at the El Valley Karate Tournament, and Miyagi begins training Daniel. Through chores like waxing cars and painting fences, Miyagi teaches him muscle memory, discipline, and the true meaning of karate. At the tournament, Daniel overcomes multiple Cobra Kai fighters and makes it to the final round against Johnny. Though injured, he uses Miyagi's crane technique to win with a single stunning kick. Johnny, moved by Daniel's perseverance, shows respect by handing him the trophy. The film launched the career of Ralph Macchio, as it was his second big role after The Outsiders. It also revitalized the acting career of Pat Morita, previously known mostly for his comedic role as Arnold in Happy Days. The Karate Kid was a commercial triumph, grossing over $90 million domestically. Its financial success was a surprise to many, especially given its relatively unknown young lead and focus on martial arts, a genre that hadn't seen mainstream popularity since the Bruce Lee era. Critically, the film received widespread acclaim and is still seen as the best film in the franchise. Reviewers praised its heartfelt storytelling, strong character development, and chemistry. Morita's portrayal of Mr. Miyagi was particularly lauded, earning him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a rare feat for a performance in a teen sports drama. Beyond reviews and revenue, The Karate Kid became a cultural phenomenon.
Man who catch fly with chopstick accomplish anything.
The Karate Kid Part 2, 1986. 2 years later, we got the sequel, which saw some returning characters, non-returning characters, and new characters. The story begins right after the first film, with Daniel LaRusso witnessing Mr. Miyagi stop John Kreese from attacking Johnny Lawrence. Soon after, Miyagi receives word that his father is dying and returns to Okinawa, Japan, bringing Daniel with him. In Okinawa, Miyagi reunites with Yuki, the woman he once loved, and learns that his former best friend Sato still holds a grudge over Miyagi leaving decades ago to avoid a fight for Yuki's hand. Meanwhile, Daniel meets and falls for Kumiko, Yuki's niece, and quickly finds trouble in Chosen, Sato's hot-headed nephew, who is involved in corrupt business dealings. A violent typhoon strikes the village, during which Miyagi and Daniel risk their lives to save villagers, including Sato. This act of bravery causes Sato to reconcile with Miyagi. However, Chosen refuses peace, and during a village festival, he takes Kumiko hostage and forces Daniel into a fight to the death. Daniel defeats Chosen but spares his life, showing mercy and embodying the true meaning of Miyagi's teachings. The Karate Kid Part 2 was a significant commercial success. It went on to gross approximately $115 million domestically. Critically, the film received more mixed reviews than its predecessor, as it tries upping the stakes without straying too far from formula, and suffers diminishing returns as a result. However, Morita's performance as Mr. Miyagi was again singled out for acclaim, and Ralph Macchio was also noted for bringing a more mature version of Daniel to the screen. Though not as universally beloved as the original, the film was still considered a worthy continuation of the story.
$600, say he break all six.
$600?
The Karate Kid Part 3, 1989. 3 years later, we moved into the film that finished the trilogy, again bringing us returning and new characters. The film begins with Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi returning to California after the events of Part 2. Their peace is disturbed when John Kreese, humiliated after losing Cobra Kai, seeks revenge. He teams up with Terry Silver, a wealthy and manipulative businessman, to destroy Daniel and Miyagi. Silver convinces Daniel to participate in the All Valley Karate Tournament, and Daniel's training under Silver turns him more aggressive and emotionally unstable, which conflicts with Miyagi's peaceful teachings. During this time, Daniel also meets Jessica Andrews, a friendly and supportive girl who helps him through his struggles. As the tournament approaches, Daniel realizes he's being manipulated. With Miyagi's help, Daniel regains his true balance. In the final match, Daniel faces Mike Barnes, Silver's vicious hired champion. Despite Barnes' underhanded tactics, Daniel wins by staying calm and focused, defending his title and proving the value of Miyagi's teachings. The Karate Kid Part 3 was not as successful as its predecessors, but still found some commercial success. The film grossed approximately $38 million domestically. Critically, the film received a mixed to negative reception. Many critics felt it didn't live up to the heart and charm of the first two films. The story was criticized for feeling formulaic and relying too heavily on the same tropes of the previous films. The film is generally seen as the worst in the trilogy, and if not for one film coming up, the worst in the franchise.
It's okay to lose to opponent, must not lose to fear!
The Karate Kid TV series, 1989. That same year, we got the animated TV show aired on NBC, which saw LaRusso and Miyagi returning, but voiced by different actors and abandoning the Karate Kid tournament motive for an adventure setting. In the show, a miniature shrine with magic powers is taken from its resting place in Okinawa, and it's up to Miyagi and LaRusso to recover it. Together with Okinawan girl Taki Tamurai, they search the globe from New York to Paris to the Himalayas, and naturally encounter several opportunities to fight their way out of trouble. The Karate Kid TV series received mostly negative reviews. While some fans appreciated the attempt to expand the franchise into a more adventurous, globe-trotting format, others felt it strayed too far from the grounded, character-driven storytelling of the original films. As a result, it was cancelled after its initial run. The show is also not seen as canon in the overall story, but a cool addition to the franchise in general.
As father once said, need to look below tip of iceberg to see what underneath.
The next Karate Kid, 1994. 5 years later, we got to the standalone sequel that saw Mr. Miyagi return, but without Daniel LaRusso and now directed by Christopher Kane. The story follows Mr. Miyagi as he travels to Boston. There he meets Julie Pierce, a teenager struggling with grief after the death of her parents. Julie is rebellious and frequently gets into trouble at school, where she's harassed by the Alpha Elite, a strict and aggressive student group. One member, Nat Randall, singles Julie out for bullying. Seeing her potential and emotional pain, Miyagi offers to mentor Julie. Julie becomes more focused and self-assured, but the Alpha Elite continues to provoke her. In the final confrontation at the school dance, Julie uses her training to defeat Nat without succumbing to anger, demonstrating the true mastery of Miyagi's teachings. Commercially, the next Karate Kid underperformed massively. It grossed around $15 million worldwide, becoming the lowest grossing film in the franchise by quite a margin. It was also met with largely negative reviews upon its release, and is generally considered the weakest entry in the franchise. The film was criticized for its predictable plot, over-the-top antagonists, and for not recapturing the charm and sincerity of the earlier Daniel Miyagi dynamic. Despite its poor reception, the film holds some nostalgic value and is occasionally revisited due to Swang's later rise to stardom as a two-time Oscar winner. The film itself is canon, but not that important looking at the overall Karate Kid franchise and its future.
Oh, my name Miyagi, friend of student grandmother.
The Karate Kid 2010. A whopping 16 years later, the franchise returned with a loose remake to the original, which has now become part of the same fictional universe. With no returning characters and directed by Harold Svart. Though it shares the title and basic structure of the original, this version shifts the setting from the US to China, and instead of karate, the martial art being taught is kung fu. The story follows Dre Parker, a 12-year-old from Detroit who moves to Beijing. Struggling to fit in, Dre becomes the target of Chang, a skilled young kung fu student. After a particularly violent encounter, Dre is saved by the apartment maintenance man, Mr. Han, who very surprisingly turns out to be a kung fu master. Han becomes Dre's mentor and begins teaching him not just how to fight, but how to find balance, discipline, and inner peace. Their bond deepens as Dre trains through unorthodox methods, like repeatedly hanging up his jacket, a nod to Miyagi's wax-on, wax-off technique. To resolve the bullying, Han enrolls Dre in a local kung fu tournament, mirroring the Elf Valley Karate tournament from the original. In the final match, Dre, despite a leg injury, faces Chang and ultimately wins with a spectacular spinning kick. Commercially, The Karate Kid was a major box office success. It grossed approximately $359 million worldwide, making it one of the highest grossing martial arts films of all time and the most successful in the franchise. It also received generally mixed to positive reviews, with many praising it as a respectful and well-executed remake of the classic. The standout performance came from Jackie Chan, who surprised many with his dramatic depth as Mr. Han. Despite its success, some critics felt the film's 2-hour-plus runtime was too long, and that the use of the title The Karate Kid was misleading. Still, it is generally seen as the second best film in the franchise and a worthy remake, which with the release of Karate Kid Legends no longer is a remake, placing it in the same fictional universe of the original films.
Everything is kung fu.
Cobra Kai, 2018 to 2025. The franchise returned 8 years later with a live-action TV show, the first in the franchise. It most notably features the return of Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, and a plethora of other returning characters from the first 3 films, as well as some new characters. Set 34 years after the events of the original Karate Kid. In Season 1, Johnny Lawrence reopens the Cobra Kai dojo after defending a bully teen, Miguel Diaz. Johnny teaches Miguel his aggressive no-mercy style. Meanwhile, Daniel LaRusso, now a successful car dealer, fears Cobra Kai's return and revives his karate skills, starting Miyagi-Do dojo. But the rivalry between him and Johnny reignites. Johnny's son, Robbie Keane, trains with Daniel, while Samantha LaRusso, Daniel's daughter, grows closer to Miguel, with Miguel defeating Robbie in the El Valley tournament. But the season ends with the return of John Kreese from the original trilogy, threatening Johnny's leadership. In Season 2, Johnny continues teaching Miguel at Cobra Kai. Daniel, teaching his students the principle of Miyagi-Do, finds himself in the direct opposition to Johnny. New Cobra Kai recruit Tori Nichols stirs tension, particularly with Samantha, and school rivalries escalate into a violent brawl between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do students, injuring Miguel. Johnny now begins questioning Cobra Kai's aggressive methods. In Season 3, Miguel is recovering from his injuries after the school fight, and Johnny feels responsible for him. Meanwhile, Daniel struggles with the aftermath of the fight and travels to Okinawa, where he reconnects with Kumiko and Chosen Togachi from the Karate Kid Part 2. In a key moment, Ellie Mills from the Karate Kid also returns. Meanwhile, John Kreese continues his hold on Cobra Kai, while Tori Nichols also becomes more entrenched in Cobra Kai's harsh philosophy. In Season 4, Johnny and Daniel put aside their rivalry and finally join forces, combining their dojos. Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate to defeat John Kreese and Terry Silver. Silver, the manipulative figure from the Karate Kid Part 3, returns, with plans to expand Cobra Kai and solidify its power. The All Valley Karate Tournament again becomes the ultimate battleground for the two dojos. Tori ends up winning, but discovers the scorecards were tampered with by Silver, deepening her commitment to Kreese's Cobra Kai. Chosen, who helped Daniel in Season 3, joins the fight, and assists Johnny and Daniel with his martial arts expertise. In Season 5, Terry Silver expands Cobra Kai nationwide, pushing his no-mercy philosophy. Johnny and Daniel again team up to stop Silver's dojo empire with help from Chosen, while Tori continues to struggle with her loyalty to Cobra Kai. Mike Barnes, the former antagonist from the Karate Kid Part 3, also returns. Jessica Andrew, an old friend of Daniel from the Karate Kid Part 3, also reappears to lend support. The season culminates in a showdown to thwart Silver's expansion, setting up further conflicts for the future final season. In Season 6, the final season, Daniel and Johnny prepare their students for the Sekai Taikai, a global karate tournament. Their alliance is tested by personal struggles. Daniel confronts dark secrets from Mr. Miyagi's past, while Johnny adjusts to impeding fatherhood and financial strain. Meanwhile, John Kreese forms a new ruthless Cobra Kai dojo with Kim Daeun. The tournament in Barcelona becomes the final battleground. Kreese confronts Terry Silver on his yacht, leading to a fierce showdown that results in both of their deaths. In the climax, Miguel and Tori win their matches, and Johnny defeats Sensei Wolf, securing victory. Afterwards, Daniel makes peace with Miyagi's legacy, and Johnny embraces fatherhood and teaching. Cobra Kai was widely praised for its smart blend of nostalgia, strong character development, humor, and action. Critics and fans appreciated its fresh take on the Karate Kid story. While some minor criticisms were directed at teen drama elements, the series remains a well-loved and impactful revival. The show was also nominated many times at the Emmys and People's Choice Awards, but was never able to win anything significant.
Daniel-san told me how dangerous you can be.
Did he mention how I kicked his ass back in high school?
Karate Kid Legends 2025. Now we get to the newest project in the franchise, with the return to the big screen for the first time in 15 years. Directed by Jonathan Entwistle. The return of Jackie Chan as Mr. Han and Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso marked the culmination of the original trilogy and the remake. The story will follow Li Fong, a kung fu prodigy who relocates from Beijing to New York City. Struggling to adapt to his new environment, Li befriends a classmate and her father. To help a friend in need, Lee enters a karate competition, but his kung fu skills alone aren't sufficient. His teacher, Mr. Han, will seek assistance from Daniel LaRusso, the original Karate Kid, to train Lee in combining kung fu and karate techniques for the ultimate martial arts showdown. The film aims to unite iconic characters while introducing a new generation to the franchise's enduring themes of mentorship, resilience, and cultural integration.
Mr. Han, I wish I could help you.
You will.
And there you have it, the full history of the Karate Kid franchise. From the highs of the original to the downright lows of some of the sequels. Now let me ask you, are you excited for Karate Kid Legends? And what is your favorite project in the franchise? Let me know in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for more videos like these. I have been Dean, the average movie guy on your screen. Big thanks for watching. See you next time. Roll the credits.